Hey y'all, it's No Superman again, back with a chapter review and discussion for One Piece, chapter 1018, Jinbei versus Who's Who. And this is another fantastic chapter. I loved it. Big fan. We'll get to that. It started off with this cover request of page 1 and Ulti playing with little stuffed dinosaurs. It just looks cute. And then if we get right back into it, you see the gifters and headliners just fighting back against all the little stragglers. It says about 300 of them. And then they do call out the fact that it is Tama who changed everything, so they're realizing her official power. So they start targeting her and they run away. And then Daifugu, Horselina, whose actual name I don't remember, and Gazelleman all show up to help out. They do mention, the Gazelleman mentions that he saw Komachio knocked out back there, and they're going to help him, so it sounds like Komachio is going to live, so that's a little plus. And then Nami remarks that that's such a remarkable power. And Usopp's like, yeah, you don't usually make friends on a battlefield. And then Zeus just pops right on out. It's like, Nami, can I be your servant again? And she instantly shuts him down and says, absolutely not. But what do you say about sidekick? And this seemed a little odd to me at first, but when I thought about it, if you go back to when they were leaving Whole Cake Island, when they realized Zeus originally came with her in front of Sanji, he's like, Zeus said I'm her servant and that he lives in the climate act. But Sanji said, you can't be her servant, I'm already her servant. So that's potentially why Nami turned it down. So, love affair between Nami and Sanji confirmed? Who knows? And then Zeus just runs on along and, beats up everybody in front of him. And then you just get another picture of the big fight. And then you go to CP0, who's listening to everything and calculating it. And now they updated the Go board. It went from 30,000. The Animal Kingdom pirates have dropped from 30,000 strong to 16,000 strong. And the Alliance now is 9,000 total, with all the gifters and headliners who have switched. But then CP0 confirms they don't care who wins, but there is one death we must confirm before this is over. We don't know any of their names, but this, I was going to say the weird mask guy, but they literally have 3 weird masks. The second guy states that the classified intelligence he ran off with was old, and there's no real harm to the government. But then they say it doesn't set a good precedent that you can escape from us and live to tell the tale. And they continue, assuming he survives this, of course. He is fighting Jinbei after all. So that hypes up Jinbei. Jinbei is already kind of a beast. But CP0, the potential strongest intelligence agency in the world of One Piece, thinks Jinbei should be stronger than their former member and may just kill him during the battle. Just sick. Then we go back to the fight. The name of the chapter. All the little people run away because Who's Who is going out. He uses moonwalk. Jinbei just asks, is that why you bear a grudge against Luffy? Who's Who admits his grudge is against the man who stole the gum gum fruit, red-haired Shanks. So it really was Shanks, which is sweet. And then he shoots a fang pistol. Jinbei blocks it, but it shows that his arm starts to bleed a little bit. So when he shoots a whole bunch more at him, Jinbei dodges it. And Who's Who does realize that the straw hat Shanks previously wore and the gum gum fruit were both inherited by Shanks. So that's why he hates Luffy. There's a term for that. I can't think of the word for it, but that's okay. I want to say the law of transition, but I know that's not correct. That's just the only thing I can think of at the moment. Transitive properties. I think that's it. Transitive properties, yeah. Because Shanks transferred the stuff to Luffy. Alright, whatever. Then it goes to the third floor, where all the stuff Jinbei just dodged. It shows just cut holes straight through the floor and is attacking random subordinates, one of which got his arm cut off at the looks of it. And they know it's Husu's Fang pistol. And Husu calls out, so even your armament hockey can't stop them. You made the right decision to dodge. But I'm surprised to see how quickly you move on land, Jinbei. You know, for a fishman. And Jinbei just calls him out. Casual racism is out of style these days, which is true in real life too. Gotta remember that. But Husu's just like racist against fishermen. Who would have thunk it? Him being a saber-toothed tiger, and tigers like eating fish. Saber-toothed lion? No, saber-toothed tiger, yeah. Him being a saber-toothed tiger and them eating fish. It kind of fits, but it's not good. And then he's like, sorry about that. There's something I wanted to ask you. Then he attacks with Fang Flash, and Jinbei blocks it and catches his teeth and just chucks him over his shoulder. When I read the scans, this page wasn't in it. So when I saw that today, that was sick. It was unexpected. I was confused how it went from like 1 to that O photo, but whatever. It's on the scans. Then Jinbei attacks, Husu dodges, and Husu's like, yeah, about that thing I wanted to ask you. A story I heard in jail from a guard. While I was there, undergoing terrible torments, he laughed and told me to pray. Apparently there was a figure that slaves would pray to in the long distant past, a legendary warrior they believed would one day free them, the sun god Nika. Did he exist, or did they dream him up? They thought he'd bring smiles to their faces and deliver them from suffering. This is huge. Like the sun god Nika. There's multiple things on this. And we'll come back to it. Jinbei gets flustered, apparently. And Husu does say, my time in prison felt so endless, I actually clung to that strange legend of theirs. Save me, I thought. Someone. Anyone. Jinbei's like, why are you asking me? And he says, because you led the Sun Pirates. I heard there were former slaves in that crew. And what is fisherman history but the history of slavery? Jinbei gets madder, like grinds his teeth, gets attacked by a finger pistol and just tanks it. And then the subordinates are all happy, stating that Topiropo's stronger than a former warlord. You see Jinbei in what looks like full armor hockey. And then he goes back to it. Husu and that prison guard who told me the story of Nika. They disappeared him days later. I started thinking I was in danger too, so I risked it all to escape. And here I am today. Is it deadly to even know about that legend? Fascinating, isn't it? So tell me everything you know. And then he breaks his finger on Jinbei's body, which just looks awesome. It looks painful. It looks cool nonetheless. Jinbei fights back. Fishman karate. Shark grip. I have nothing to say to the likes of you. And Husu just kicks him straight in the face, but he tanks it again. Says, here comes your puncture wound. Fang pistol. And Jinbei just takes it, doesn't move. Fishman karate, secret art. Husu's like, he snapped all of a sudden. And Jinbei's standing on his tail, which is, easy way to catch a cat, I guess. If you're going to run your mouth about history, demon brick fist, be ready for what you're stepping into first. And it looks like Husu gets knocked down. Well, there's multiple things to take away with this. The thing, CP0 said that Husu's intelligence information would be outdated, but if the guard who told him the story got disappeared, could it be dangerous that he knows this information? Like, is that what they're talking about? And now that he's asked Jinbei about it, and it appears that Jinbei knows something, could CP0 now attack Jinbei for that as well? So my first thought after reading this was the fact that Fisher Tiger was the original leader of the Sun Pirates. He climbed the Red Line and freed a bunch of slaves before he made the Sun Pirates, because that's what originally made him a criminal, I believe. So my first guess is that while he was doing that, he learned some information from the world nobles in regards to this, the sun god Nika. And that's why I chose the name the Sun Pirates. It could be like the slaves he freed. It was just something that they had passed down as well. I don't know, though. But that was my first original thought. A photo I found online on Saturday states that Nika means victory in Greek, and victory in Japanese says Japanese, which is weird, but it means Jaya. And Jaya, we've been to Jaya. I was right before when they went into the air, Skypiea. And there is an ancient Japanese king who is named Jayabaya. And Jayabaya is spelled Joyoboyo. It says that he ruled over an ancient kingdom, and that ancient kingdom was more than 800 years ago. And the Void Century was 800 years ago. I'm just going to post this photo. Apparently it came from Reddit. But effectively it could be like this is just, it's just Joy Boy. Like, it sounds like Joy Boy. They thought he'd bring smiles to their faces and deliver them from suffering. This is just talking about Joy Boy. And if we do go back to the Skypiea arc, when Usopp, Luffy, I think they were the only dancing, when they were dancing with the wolves around the fire in the forest, or potentially even after they beat Enel, like, Luffy had multiple silhouettes where he was like running around and dancing. I could picture him looking a little bit like that. Not exactly like it, of course, but like a little bit like it. One thing that like kind of confuses me is Husu does say like the guard who told him about it just disappeared days after he told him about it. So he only knew this story because he then says he escaped shortly after that. So he knew the story for like maybe a week. And then he was like, no, I need to leave and I need to know about this. It's odd. But it just brings up so many questions. But I do now picture CP0 having to get into the fight. I don't think like it'd be possible for Jinbei and Husu to like team up against CP0. Because after this, nah. So it does look like CP0 like has to get into the fight. I don't know what any of their abilities are, any of that shit. So we just gotta wait and see, but man, there's a break next week. That part's kinda lame. But Jinbei's just a beast. Alright, well, that's all I got for now. If you watch this, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.